Bristol West, which is probably one of the most fascinating constituencies in the entire country. It's the kind of bohemian, artisan, independent Bristol you see in Times magazines. And it's currently held by Labour. Their MP, Thangham Debonair, very popular, but the Green Party have been eyeing it up, Rob. They're very strong locally in that constituency. Molly Scott-Cato is their candidate. And today the Liberal Democrats confirmed that Stephen Williams, who was the MP, he was beaten into third place in the recent Metro Mayor elections, will be standing once more. So that's going to be very interesting.
Peter, thank you very much. Let's stay on Bristol West, shall we? Because let's say good afternoon to Jodian Rodgers, who's standing for the Money Free Party. Good afternoon, Jodian, you okay?
Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for having me on.
No problem at all. So the Free Money Party, presumably then, wants to abolish money. Is that a fair representation?
The Money Free Party, yes. Well, what we stand for is a resource-based economy. So we don't want to try and fix the system that we have today, or we don't want to patchwork fixes for the system. We just want a complete new system. A resource-based economy is a great idea that stands on the shoulders of many people, and a great couple of groups globally are now pushing and advocating this idea around, and I would like to, tell you who they are. They are the VenusProject.com and the ZeitgeistMovement.com. Great guys, really working very hard to get out there into the world and talk about this new idea.
Let's say you've met someone for the first time and they don't know what the Money Free Party is. When you tell them the idea, what's the first thing you usually get?
Well, at the moment, I'm getting great responses because I'm approaching it from the side that we need a new system and that we can't fix the system because it's designed really well for the few. So they really like the idea that perhaps, we should rewrite the whole system, the whole social contract, and start again. And I'm getting great responses, and the more I get out there and the more I see people, I'm really enjoying sharing this new idea to them because they're so responsive.
A couple of questions come straight into my mind. How do you pay for things, first of all?
Right, yeah, this is great question. We would always, there's no money at all. There's no trade, there's no barter, there's no formal exchange of any goods. What we would say is we would declare all resources the common heritage of all people. So we would all own everything. There wouldn't be just one person lording it over you, owning all the mineral rights to one sort of mineral. Then with that in place, now we have all the resources as common heritage. We would then automate as much of the workforce as possible, and they would be producing everything and anything we needed. We're now at a stage of our technological ability where we can automate most work if we wanted to. Most new automation is actually held back because we have no jobs to replace them. And in a monetary society, you need jobs and money to keep the economy going. So we would automate most of the workforce and we'd start from the repetitive, really soul-destroying drudgery work, leaving us with the free, creative type of work, that humans are really made for, solving problems, for instance. And then here's the crust of a resource-based economy. Here's the real most important part that most people are really getting into. The fact that we wouldn't have leaders, we wouldn't have a government, and we wouldn't have politics. What we would have is a competent democracy, and there we want everybody involved in decision-making. But we would say in a competent democracy, you would have to know a little bit about the subject area of the vote. So, for instance, I've got no skills in mechanical ability or engineering, so I wouldn't get involved in decisions in that area.
Do you think you might have a job on your hands to convince people that this is the biggest issue facing people at the moment and it's not Brexit, that kind of thing?
Yes, I think now it's been in the mouths of people, on the tongues and of everybody that I speak to, is that the system is actually at fault. It's designed very well.
But to get from the position that we find ourselves in now to the position that you want, you project it to be in, it's a long way, isn't it? It's not something that can be sorted in a couple of months' time, in a couple of years' time, is it? This idea that people have got to abandon everything that they know, the kind of the material of what they understand life to be.
Yes, because it's a biggie, but what you're now working for is the common good of all people on the planet. So you've now obliterated war, you've obliterated homelessness, you've obliterated starvation in one fell swoop, with one structure that's immediately gone, wiped off the face of the earth forever.
Is that not just assuming that everyone's got the same kind of ideas and morals as you?
No, No, we're actually assuming that everybody's completely different and wants to go on their own path, but they need the world around them to support them, say. So they don't have the worry of carrying anybody else, and nobody's carrying them. They can actually, the only limitation I would say, to a human being in a resource-based economy is their own mind.
Yeah.
So that's the only limitation to what they can actually do.
I could talk to you about this for a long time, Jodian, but let's be honest now. There'll be a lot of people shouting at the radio as they're going about the business, saying you're up against a popular Labour candidate, you're up against a popular Green Party candidate, who feel that they're in with a shout. So do the Lib Dems. The Lib Dem MP Stephen Williams was the MP there for 10 years. How do you honestly rate your chances?
I honestly rate my chances really well, because people now know that every 5 years the democracy in this country equals you can vote for red or blue. And they now know that both red and blue, Labour and Conservative, offer the same pledges but swap and switch between themselves. And we also know 100% that they never keep the manifesto pledges. So, voting for them is futile.
Jodian, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you. See you later. Bye-bye. Jodian Rodgers, who's standing for the Money Free Party.